Yay, I'm live. Hi guys, it's Jackie M from Masters of Malaysian Cuisine, and welcome to the first of my series on Malaysian Ingredients Made Easy. For those of you who've been following me for a while, you will have known that I've been doing this ongoing series on Malaysian Ingredients Made Easy videos, and usually they're pre-recorded videos, and I would just show the highlights of, like, say, 5 different ways to use Malaysian spring roll skin, or 5 different ways to use Malaysian puff pastry, that sort of stuff, right? But this time I've decided I'm going to actually supplement this series with some live videos so that you're not just seeing the little highlight 10-second clips of how to use these products, but you actually get to follow me as I cook using these ingredients. Okay, so what are the ingredients we're covering in this series? We are covering, I've got 4 so far, one more to be advised, but I'm covering Malaysian Palm Sugar or Gula Melaka. And secondly, I'm covering Malaysian coconut milk or coconut cream. Thirdly, I'm covering Malaysian coconut water. And fourthly, I'm covering kalulut, which is Malaysian stingless bee honey. Okay, so over the next 4 weeks, twice a week, I'm going to focus on a different Malaysian ingredient each week. Okay, this week we're doing palm sugar. Okay, before I go on any further, make sure you say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Like I said, we're going to be showing you different ways to use Malaysian ingredients. And if you want the recipes for these, can I just get you to either message me, Jackie M Tang, you can find me, or in my Facebook page, Jackie M Food, or just post in the comments your email address, and I will add you to our mailing list, where you can get the recipes that I'm going to be featuring in this series. Okay, so they're going to be 8 sessions, 1 more ingredient to be advised further down the track. But again, just a quick shout out. This is in partnership with the Agriculture Counsellor Office of Sydney, the Malaysian Agriculture Counsellor Office to be specific. And also shout out to Lenovo for supplying me with the hardware, the computers, for me to do these broadcasts. Okay, but yeah, hey Brad, how you doing? Twitch buddy. long time guys, say hello, let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you. So like I said, in this first session, we're going to be featuring Malaysian palm sugar, and they come in a couple of different forms. The most common form is in solid blocks, okay, cylinders, and I'll show them to you a little bit closer in a little bit. Or you can buy them nowadays in liquid form. Okay, this is liquid concentrated palm sugar, both of them Malaysian products. So let me just quickly do a screen switch so that you can see everything a little bit better. So you're not staring at me, but instead you're looking at what I'm doing. Okay, here we go. So Gula Melaka, Malakas can be spelled M-E-L-A-K-A, or it can be spelled the Malaysian, the traditional, the old way, Malacca, the English way. Okay, Gula Melaka. Gula means sugar. Malacca is the state of Malacca in Malaysia. And then nobody really knows why it's called Gula Melaka. The suggestion is that it originated in Malacca. I'm not so sure about that, but you know, could be. And then this is in liquid form, okay, concentrated liquid form. And stick around, make sure you ask me any questions, and I will answer them after my cooking demos. And also, someone asked me on via email where to buy these products, okay, and I will get to that in a little bit as well. So what are we making today? We're going to be making 2 things that use Gula Melaka, okay, and there are different ways to use them. You can use them, like I said, they usually come in cylinder form, okay, and or they come in liquid. And if they come in cylinder form, you can crush them, you can dissolve them in water and all that sort of stuff, okay. So the 2 ways we're going to use them, first of all, we're going to use them in the syrup for something called Taufu Fa, which is a tofu pudding, which is very popular in Malaysia. And Taufu Fa often is served with either a white sugar syrup or with palm sugar syrup. So we're just going to use the palm sugar syrup, and I'm going to show you the easiest way I know to make Taufu Fa, okay? And the other thing we're going to make is something called Onde-Onde, which also goes by the name of Gula Melaka, actually, which, yeah, I won't go into. And it is also known as klepon, okay? But these are basically like mochi dumplings filled with crushed palm sugar, okay? So those are the 2 recipes we're going to cover. But first of all, we're going to do tofu pudding. Hi Prakash, how you doing? That's called gurim. Oh, there you go. So, yeah, yeah, I mean, it's very it crosses different cultures and different nationalities. Like my friend uses something called jaggery, which I never knew it as jaggery, but essentially it's this, it's from the same source, like coconut. It's from the sap of coconut flowers. Okay, so very, very similar, but this is actually quite different to what you get in Thailand. When you say palm sugar in Australia, a lot of people associate it with the Thai palm sugar, which is like a creamy, light caramel color. The Malaysian palm sugar is darker, okay? It's a little bit more intense in flavor, I guess, and kind of like a little bit like molasses, okay? But this is coconut sugar, so it's got a nicer coconutty vibe to it. But like I said, first of all, the easy way to make Taufu Fa or tofu pudding is the easiest, okay? It's not the only way, and obviously it's not the traditional way. The easiest way is to buy some unsweetened soy drink. Okay, these are the Chinese like soy drink. This is not the Western soy milk that you use as a dairy substitute. Okay, this is a soy drink you can pick up at any Asian grocery store. Look for the ones without sugar. And what you want to do is you want to cook it, okay, to just below boiling point. Okay, now you can either use a thermometer to measure the heat level. I don't have a thermometer, so I'm going to cook it in my Thermomix, okay, and set my Thermomix to heat this up to 98 degrees Celsius, okay, which is, 100 degrees is boiling point. So I'm going to heat it up. It'll take about 5 minutes, okay? Okay, you're going to hear that going for a little bit. So that's while that's happening, what we want to do is we want to prepare something to make it actually set, okay? And I know that, again, like as with anything that I cover, there are going to be lots of different ways to do this, okay? When I used to make this, I used to actually use soybeans, whole soybeans, and crush them and strain them and all that, right? But today we're doing the easy way, okay, which is why we're using commercial soy drink that you can buy at Asian grocery stores. Okay, so while that's heating up, what you want is you want some tapioca starch. Okay, so you can use corn starch as well, but tapioca starch. That's how it looks, okay? And you want a couple of teaspoons of this. And you can add a little bit more of the soy milk to this. I might have a little bit too much for the amount, actually. But we don't have to use all of it. So let's just add a bit of water, and you want to mix this till it's dissolved. And you're going to find that by the time that heats up, this might have settled a little bit, okay? Because tapioca starch does tend to settle quite quickly. Set that aside. And the other thing you want, which I'm pretty sure I've got somewhere here. Just bear with me for a second. This is the magic ingredient. Okay, this one, every time I mention this ingredient, people go, oh, where do I buy this? I've never come across this. Just look up eBay, okay? The land only. Hello. How you doing? Okay, this is called GDL for short, right? If you can see it, sorry. Okay, glucodelta-lactone. Now, I didn't know what this was either. I went onto eBay, looked it up, and bought this on eBay. It's only a tiny little envelope. You only need like a quarter of a teaspoon of it. So a little goes a long, long way, okay? So order it on eBay, and then you'll get it delivered within like a couple of days. And you're going to want to add, like I said, just a tiny bit into this mixture here. But we'll do that when the thing is hot, okay? So while that's happening, you want to make the syrup for this thing, okay? And to make the syrup, we're going to use the palm sugar. And of course, you can cheat and use this concentrate, okay? But it seems a little bit of a shame in its concentrated form because you want the syrup to be quite runny, okay? It seems a bit of a shame to use the concentrate and to kind of add water to it. You might as well use the solid form of the palm sugar and dissolve it. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. I'm stunned that I've got Twitch people watching. I used to stream 3 times a week on Twitch. Brad will tell you that. But I haven't streamed on Twitch properly for years now, and I'll just add it to my streaming destinations, and voila. Okay, so the palm sugar, I'm not going to use all of this, okay, because I'm not making that much, okay? So what we want, and you're going to find this palm sugar when you buy it. Like I said, they come in logs, and the reason they come in logs is the sugar, the sap is actually basically poured into bamboo like fingers to set, and that's why they end up looking like cylindrical logs. Okay, and you're going to find that you can actually just kind of grate it like this. And add it in here, and you're going to add some water. Okay, so if you want, you can cut it into bigger chunks. Just be careful with your fingers. Okay, so this is like sugar. Like I said, like brown sugar is less refined than white sugar. So it's, you know, anything less refined, it would be better for you. Okay, so like I said, you can kind of like just cut it up, or you can grate it. Grating is easy, okay? Or if you're using it in small amounts, right? Or if you're using it like in shredded like form, you can throw it in a food processor and just grate it that way, okay? The food processor will do a good job for you. So what you want to do, heat it up, add some water, and you want to add a bit of ginger. For this particular recipe, at least anyway. Okay, let's grab this. And unfortunately, I'm using StreamYard to do my streaming, and StreamYard doesn't show Facebook comments the way we've set it up anyway. So if you're watching from Facebook, yeah, say hello anyway and ask me any questions if I miss them. If Paul sees any, he'll post them for me so I can answer them. But otherwise, thanks so much for joining me, even though I can't see your comments. But great to have you guys, okay? So I've got some ginger here. I'm just going to throw these in. They look a bit soft because they've been frozen. It's easier to smash and tiny cut. Knifing will not be easy. There you go. Smash it into tiny pieces. Yeah, I usually actually just chuck it in my Thermomix and just blitz it for a couple of seconds, and it crushes it really nicely. But yeah, in its current form, it can be quite hard. Hey Jane, how you doing? Oh, Jane from New Zealand. Jane, I have the answer for you. Jane from New Zealand was asking me earlier on email where, if you are in New Zealand, where you buy these Malaysian ingredients, and this is your answer. There you go. New Zealand, look up the website e-packs.co.nz, Jane. And anyone else from New Zealand, or if you've got New Zealand friends here, make sure you look up their website to find out about where to get all these Malaysian ingredients that we're featuring over the next few weeks. And of course, if you're in Australia, certainly in Sydney, anywhere, you're kind of spoiled for choice. You can pretty much buy these ingredients in most Asian grocery stores, but there is one in particular that's actually a Malaysian grocery store here in Punch Bowl, not too far, maybe about, I don't know, about 25 minutes from me or so. Okay, so Malaysian groceries Punch Bowl, that's an option if you live in this part of Australia as well. But again, like I said, in Australia, we are kind of like pretty fortunate because we can buy a lot of Malaysian products in most Asian grocery stores, okay? Just make sure they say made in Malaysia, okay? Okay, so basically what you want to do is just dissolve this, okay? And it will take a little bit of time. And what we want to do in the meantime, our thingo is our soy milk is at 98 degrees. Hey, Craig, how you doing? Having a sneaky look eye. Well, I won't tell if you want. How are you, Craig? Always good to see you. All right, so here we go. So we got the soy milk. It's at 98 degrees. We got the cornstarch or tapioca starch mixed with a little bit of water. And to this, we're going to add the magic ingredient, the GDL, glucodelta lactone. Again, just Google where to buy this. I'm always short on utensils when I'm doing this. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so cornstarch mixture, bit of GDL. Again, don't think that the more the merrier. You just want a small amount, okay? So mix it in with that. And what we're going to do is pour it into a heavy base like mold or pan or something like that. I'm using this pot over here. So that's your heated up thingo. You want to pour this. Whoops, it's got to be a little bit careful. In here, and then cover it up quickly. Stick a lid over it. Let it sit for 20 minutes. Okay, I'm going to use my Lenovo. Here, let me just quickly switch screen here so you can see my Lenovo. Okay, can you see my Lenovo smart device here? Hey Google, set timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now.
Okay, did you hear that? So that's courtesy of my Lenovo smart device. Okay, so this is pretty much dissolved. You can thicken up. You notice I didn't measure anything when I dissolved this, all right? It's making sugar syrup. It's a little bit arbitrary. If you want it sweeter, you can put more. Use less water. You can simmer this a little bit longer to thicken it up, whatever, okay? So, but let's turn it off and let's assume this will be good to go, okay? We're going to set this aside while we're waiting for this for 20 minutes. I'm going to try not to move this too much because I need this out of the way. Okay, so 20 minutes. And in the meantime, what we're going to do, let's move all this. I like to clean as I go. And again, like I said, hit me up if you've got any questions in the meantime. And let's move this away. And let's see if there are any questions, any hellos. Li Wei, hey, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Good to we have Sydney people watching. That's excellent. Umi, how are you from Malaysia? Good to see you. Team Agak says Paul. Hi Prakash. We don't measure, we use feelings. Uncle Roger. That's right. Yeah, I agree. Uncle Roger is our hero because Uncle Roger is from Malaysia, like me. And I like how he takes people to task to make things up, okay? But hopefully you won't think I make things up. I did used to own a Malaysian restaurant over here. So I do know a little bit about Malaysian cooking. Okay, so like I said, coconut sugar, Gula Melaka, and coconut concentrated palm sugar. If you have any creative ways to use these, let me know. And because guys, I'm going to be sending everyone the notes on these, the recipes and all that, right? And also more tips about different ways to use all these ingredients. So if you have any suggestions, let me know and I will mention them in the content as well and give you a shout out, right? Also, if you want to get the notes and you're not already on my mailing list, make sure you send me your email address, okay? Just you can comment if you're not fussed about having it public, or you can just private message me your email address and I'll add you to our email list. Okay, so we've got that. And the other thing we're going to make is something called Onde-Onde. Okay, I grew up knowing it's Onde-Onde. If you know it as any other name, let me know, okay? And Onde-Onde requires this palm sugar to be shredded, okay? So what we're going to do is, like I said, you can actually just throw this in the food processor, but otherwise you can just use a knife and just crush it like this, okay? And then after this, what we're going to do is we're going to form it back into little balls, okay? And Onde-Onde, you only need 4 ingredients. to make this. Very, very easy, and they're not hard to get ingredients either. Okay, so we're going to cover that in a second. So make sure you, especially if you're not familiar with Malaysian cooking, just make sure you use keep your eyes peeled on some of the things I'm going to go through. Okay, so you see this, you just crush it. It feels like these logs feel hard, right? But when you crush them, they actually shred very, very easily. Okay, here you go. So what we're going to do, I'm going to just put some gloves on quickly. Okay, a lot of people kind of feel that Onde-Onde Malaysian palm sugar might be a little bit like, Malaysian dumplings, right? Seem a little bit complicated to make, but they're actually very, very easy. I used to sell this at my restaurant. And in fact, I used to get my waitresses, when it's a little bit quiet outside, I need extra hands in the kitchen. I'll rope in a couple of them and say, go make some Onde-Onde, okay? The thing about Onde-Onde is generally you do want to eat it like the same day it's made. Otherwise, the next day it goes hard and kind of weird, okay? So what I've done here is like just grab a little like of this shredded palm sugar and just crush it in your hands, all right, to turn them into little sugar balls, okay? Just kind of like crush it like this. This is the part that probably is a little bit time consuming, especially if you're making Onde-Onde for 20 people, okay? So what you want to do is just basically roll them back up into these little sugar balls. And you know what? What I'm going to do in a second is I'm going to put some water on the stove here, okay? So just kind of like press, okay? So that they're easy to handle, but they're not like rock hard like before you shred them, okay? So just do that for a little bit. I'm just going to do a couple more. So this is the first ingredient for Onde-Onde, ingredient 1. And you do need Malaysian palm sugar for this. Okay, I actually got caught out one time. This has got to go into my book one day. If ever I write a book about my adventures in Malaysian cooking, I actually was invited to do a cooking demo on this stage that was sponsored by an Asian ingredients distributor, okay, not specifically Malaysian ingredients, but they just applied Asian ingredients. And I was invited to cook on their stage, and I gave them my recipe and my ingredients for them to get everything, because they were going to supply the ingredients. And I put down palm sugar because I didn't specify Malaysian palm sugar. They gave me Thai palm sugar. Okay, so remember how I said the Thai palm sugar is like a lot harder, and it's like a light creamy color, and you can't really like do it like this, right? So that demo turned out to be a little bit of a bust, okay? Okay, so here we go. You see all these? I've just basically rolled them back up into these little balls, okay? So that's step 1, ingredient 1 for Onde-Onde. And then what you want to do, put some, there's just water, okay? Okay, we're gonna bring it to a boil. It's actually hot water, so it won't take too long. And then you want to make the dumplings, basically the dumpling skin. And to do that, you need, and also, the other ingredient you want is some shredded coconut. Now in Malaysia, we're very lucky to be able to get fresh grated coconut. But if you're in Australia and you don't want to hunt down fresh grated coconut, you can just use desiccated coconut, okay? So this is just good old desiccated coconut you can pick up at your local supermarket, okay? Just put some of that there. Now, in Malaysia, if you use fresh grated coconut, what you would want to do is like you want to toss a little bit of salt through it as well, okay? But when I use desiccated coconut, I don't bother. I just use it straight out of the packet, just like that. Okay, so everything that I'm showing you guys is kind of like the quick and easy way to do this at home without, having to go out on a limb to desecrate it. Yeah, Yeah, that too. Maybe. Yeah, so we don't kind of like go, we don't want to make you work too hard to be able to recreate this at home. Okay, remember 4 ingredients. Okay, so we got that, we got this, and then the other thing we want is glutinous rice flour. Yeah, people tend to get glutinous rice flour confused with rice flour. It's not rice flour. Okay, this, you see it says glutinous rice flour. Okay, so you want the glutinous bit. In fact, this is not the brand that I usually buy. The brand that I'm most familiar with actually looks like, you saw like tapioca flour earlier, tapioca starch earlier, same brand as that, but you know, the label will say glutinous rice flour and the label will be green instead of light blue like that one. But this should work. I've never tried it before. But okay, so what you want? Glutinous rice flour. Okay, I don't measure anything. Okay, again, we are team Aga. Hey, Chef Joe. Johari Edris having a sneaky look, waiting for the meeting. Thank you, Chef Joe. By the way, guys, he is the chef. He is one of my Masters of Malaysian Cuisine founding members, and he is the judge of MasterChef Malaysia. So say hello to Chef Joe. Hey, Missy, how you doing? Good to have you. Tune in. Rahana, how are you? Good to have you. So this is glutinous rice flour, and the other ingredient we're going to use is another Malaysian ingredient. This is actually pandan powder. Okay, it's optional, but Onde-Onde, 99% of Onde-Onde, or these little mochi balls, have pandan. Okay, what is pandan? If you don't know what pandan is like what I like to describe as Malaysian vanilla. And you can get pandan in like using fresh pandan leaves that you kind of like break up, add some water in a blender with the pandan leaves and crush and then strain out to produce this green liquid. Okay, or you can get pandan concentrate, which are like getting like, you know, these little vanilla essence thingers, but pandan, and a lot of the pandan concentrate I find produce an overly green color. Okay, or you can even buy pandan juice in the can. All right, or nowadays you can buy pandan powder. This is actually fresh 100% pure pandan leaf that's crushed into a powder form, and this one, like I said, it's a Malaysian product. You can pick it up from online from mybluetea.com.au. okay, tea as in drinking tea, mybluetea.com.au. And the great thing about this for me is that I can just use it straight. Okay, so I don't have to get fresh pandan leaves or frozen pandan leaves, cut them up, throw them into a blender, add water, blitz them, and then strain them. Okay, you can do that, but nowadays, easy way, just pandan powder with the sticky rice flour, and we're gonna add water. Okay, glutinous rice, sticky rice, same thing. Okay, so we're gonna add a bit of water here, and we're gonna keep adding water until we produce a soft, pliable dough. Okay, so it's just cold water. And like I say, every time people ask how much water, I struggle to quantify it. Okay, because I just kind of like add little bits to it and keep mixing it and kneading it until it all comes together. If I accidentally put too much water, I just add more flour. Okay. Now, back during my restaurant days, some of my waitresses would actually use coconut milk in lieu of water. Okay. I personally found I love coconut milk, but I didn't think that it really added anything to the flavor. It's up to you. And the other thing, you see, I've added too much water here, so we're gonna add more of the glutinous rice flour again. Okay. Yeah, so you can use coconut milk. The other thing you can use is mashed sweet potato. Okay, so some Onde-Onde recipes will ask you to steam some sweet potato, mash it up, and then add it to this as well. It's up to you. Okay, mashed sweet potato does produce a softer Onde-Onde that seems to stay softer for longer. Okay, so this is what I've got now. We got a lot of Malaysians, Rahana from Malaysia, Javinia Missy from Malaysia, I believe. Chef Joe from Malaysia, Jane Lee from New Zealand, and a few other people from Australia tuning in. So great to have you guys join me and hit me up. Like I said, if you've got any questions, they're still a little bit sticky, so I'm going to add a little bit more flour, okay? This is how I always made this, okay? So this is something that you can, I mean, this is a great recipe for kids. If you've got like teenage kids at home who feel like a snack, this is a great one to make for afternoon tea, okay? Let's just take this out. And the other thing that you can try, one of the biggest problems with making Onde-Onde is having the wrapper actually split when it's boiling, okay? Because you need to boil this in a bit. If it does split on you, what you can do is, you see how I was using cold water to mix this? What you can do is get some of the glutinous rice flour and add a little bit of boiling water to it, okay? That will create a starchy mixture. And then you only want a small amount of it, and then you add it to this and knead it, okay? The starchiness will help it stick together. Hey, Nancy, how you doing from Alberta? Wow, great to have you tune in. Okay, so there's the Onde-Onde. Like I said, very, very simple. So we've got so far we've got the pandan flavoring using pandan powder. We've got the glutinous rice flour, and we've got water, okay? And then we got the palm sugar over here. And what you want to do is scrap these, roll it up, okay? Make an indent here and add a lump of this and just cover it, okay? Okay, I don't try to kind of like make it too round, okay? Because the more you work this in the palm of your hands, the more it may actually tend to break up, okay? So I've got the boiling water over here. And then we're going to add this in here. And just make sure it doesn't stay stuck to the bottom of the pan. That's the main thing, okay? And you basically want to poach it gently till they float up to the top. Okay, another one. Okay, again, just a little punch in the middle to cover it up. And every time I make this, oops, I just ran out of gas. Every time I make this, I end up with a couple of like dumplings that actually end up popping in the water. So don't worry too much if you've got like a couple of failed dumplings, okay? Just best you can. Strike a balance between like how thin you wrap these and how much palm sugar you end up adding to this, okay? Because you can get greedy and think, I want it really sweet. I want lots and lots of palm sugar. And only a very thin skin, okay? But that can make your dumpling a little bit too fragile. Hey, Eric, how you doing? I know, right? Hey, Tini, how are you? I made Onde-Onde on Saturday. Oh, wow, you should be teaching this. Okay, so there you go. Just wrap it up like this, okay? Now, in Malaysia, you might find, when you go to Malaysia, you're going to think, oh, you know, the Onde-Onde that Jackie made are ginormous compared to the ones you get in Malaysia, okay? Depends on which part of Malaysia you go to, but it is true, okay? In Australia, we tend to supersize everything. Our satays, our Onde-Onde, everything, it seems to be really big, right? Okay, so here you go. Just punch it in the middle at the sugar and just wrap it up. So it's like a tiny momo. Yeah, probably. I've had a few leak on me. Never fun to greedy for palm sugar. See, Paul knows. Paul is my partner in South Africa. So Paul's the one who displays all the comments and stuff. And Paul did the beautiful overlay, the lower third and all that as well. So thank you, Paul. But yeah, Paul is a South African who's never visited Malaysian restaurants because there aren't any out his way. But he has been attempting to make Malaysian food. So I don't know what they actually taste like, but they look impressive. Doing great, starting a really big veggie garden. Oh, nice, cool. Okay. I actually tried to grow a balcony garden here in, when COVID first hit 2 years ago, because I'm a little bit of a prepper, right? I live in an apartment, but I do have a small balcony. I thought maybe I should start growing some veggies, in case we're locked down for months and can't really get supplies. And like over the last 2 years, I've grown chilies, I've grown cabbage, Chinese greens, everything. And the only things that have survived so far are something called down kasum, which is a Vietnamese mint or laksa leaves, right? And the other thing is a Thai basil tree of some description. So everything. I'm terrible at growing stuff. Can do lettuce on a balcony for sure. It's so easy. Really, Eric? Oh, I've never had any luck. Okay, so you see, I'm adding these to the water, and a couple of them are starting to float. Okay, what you're going to find when you bite into these eventually. The way I like these is when I bite into these, I can. This will be half dissolved, but still a little bit crunchy. So it will be like biting into something that's half melted, but with little bits of little chunks of sugar in it. Okay, that's my favorite, like Onde-Onde. Some people might like it completely dissolved, like a liquid, and you bite into it. Okay, I prefer it to be a little bit semi-solid. Okay, so this is coming out. Okay. And it's going straight in the stop. Okay, you see my timer just went off. Okay, so that's my Lenovo smart device. Again, shout out to Lenovo. Okay, so you see these. And by the way, I've used like the natural pandan powder from Malaysia for this, right? So the colors are a little bit muted. They're like a natural green color. Okay, if you buy like pandan concentrate or something like that, you might end up with something that's a lot more intensely green. Okay, I generally prefer them to be muted like this these days. Okay, but it's a personal preference thing to some extent, right? So don't stress out too much. And if you want a different color, you can actually do that, right? You can. If you use like orange sweet potato mashed into this, you end up with like orange like dumplings, okay? But if you're not familiar with Malaysian cooking and you see a lot of products that are green in color, almost certainly the green is from pandan, okay? Because we use pandan a lot in our cooking. Okay, so another one, it comes out, all right? Just toss it. Okay, make sure you toss it before you take them out, because otherwise they'll stick together. Okay, so super easy. And then once you've tossed them in here, you can take them out. How's everyone on Twitch, by the way? How's Twitch doing these days? I hear a lot of complaints on Reddit about Twitch, about there being too many ads nowadays. Is that right? That it's impossible to sit through a stream because of all the ads. Yo Tae Kun, hi. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Have a little bit of sugar crunchiness. Yes, sugar crunchiness. That's the one. Yeah. And yeah, speaking of caramel, for those of you who are not familiar with the Malaysian Palm Sugar, like I said, it's kind of like a little bit like brown sugar, like Demerara sugar, but it's got like a nice coconutty vibe to it. Okay, so flavor-wise, it's slightly more intense in flavor, I find, compared to regular white sugar, and it has a slight caramelly vibe to it as well. Okay, so less processed than white sugar, obviously. So you know, better for you, really. Okay. Okay, so like I said, you just want to like cook these, and that's it. That's done. You're right. No having to rest it for half an hour, for 2 hours. No having to bake it for 40 minutes, whatever. Right? Just very, very quick and easy. Just take it out, boil it for a couple of minutes, take it out, and voila. And only 4 ingredients, okay? And the key ingredient is the palm sugar and the glutinous rice flour. So give it a shot and let me know how it turns out. And if you're in New Zealand, like I said, where you can buy this is, and Paul's just going to flash it up on screen again. New Zealand stockers for Malaysian ingredients that we're covering in this series can be found at e-tax.co.nz. And in Australia, you can find them in virtually every Asian grocery store. But in particular, Paul's going to flash up one on screen because I always tell people when you're shopping for Asian ingredients, even we Asians, so like that example about that cooking demo I did years ago where they gave me Thai palm sugar instead of Malaysian palm sugar to make Onde-Onde with. Even we Asians don't necessarily are not necessarily on the same page when it comes to Asian ingredients, okay? So if you want to look for Malaysian ingredients, go to a place that basically is run by a Malaysian or run by, otherwise run by another Southeast Asian, So obviously if you go to a Korean store or a Japanese store, you might struggle to find these, right? So I know it's stating the obvious, but some people, may struggle to parse the difference between all these different Asian countries and cultures and cuisines, right? Okay, so we got that out of the way. Let's have a look at the easy Taufu Fa, okay? Is it ready? Did it turn out? Let's have a look. Okay, I worry a little bit about shaking it. Oops. Okay. Okay, it's nearly set, okay? But I'll show you one that I did earlier. So this just needs a little bit more time. Okay, so again, this uses soy drink. If you're Asian, you'll know what I mean. These soy drinks you can pick up at Asian grocery stores. Get the one. Hi, my run. Well, Tini's on there, so it's sold out. Oh wow! Damn, Tini, you need to open your own restaurant. Okay, so let's get a bowl for this. This is a bit big, but okay. So you just scoop it out. You see it? Okay. If you think it's a bit firm, you can add, you can add a bit of water. It depends on the batch of tofu of soy milk that you're using, right? Or even if you make your own soy milk. So the way I usually make this is I use my own soybeans. I crush them in the Thermomix, just like a blender, okay? A lot of people will tell you to soak the soybeans overnight. I don't, because I've got a very powerful blender. So I blend the soybeans in water and then strain them out, blend them again, strain them out, okay? And then basically use the strained out soy milk, soy drink, and boil it like this, like what I did, and then just serve it and then let it set and then serve it with the palm sugar syrup, okay? So there you go, super easy, okay? So this is making a quick and easy Taufu Fa using just like instant soy drink, okay? Otherwise you can do what I do, which is buy the soybeans whole and crush them yourselves, okay? And then make the syrup using the Gula Melaka. Just throw a chunk in with some water, simmer it till it's fully dissolved, and add a little bit of ginger to it to give it a nice gingery vibe, and then just serve it up with this. Or alternatively, you can just use this, right? Okay, this is concentrated. Just let me show you this. I'll be going to use this in my next cooking session, right? But in the meantime, just so you can see how it looks, Okay, so you can use this like this as well. Okay, and then the Onde-Onde. So this is the Taufu Fa, and this is the Onde-Onde. Okay, I think Tini is a ringer. So you needed to strain it through a cheesecloth. I strained it, yeah, through a cheesecloth actually, yeah. So this is, in case you're wondering, this is really hot. Okay, so I don't want to bite into this right now, but I'll just show you what it looks like when you break it up. Okay. Okay, so you see it kind of like a gooey mixture, right? Okay, there you go. I'm going to make this once before, then you taste and you convince you spent 20 years perfect. All right, well, there you go, guys. The two recipes today are Taufu Fa, and I showed you how to make it quick and easy within 5 minutes plus 20 minutes resting time using instant soy milk, right? And you just heat up to 98 degrees. So you do need a thermometer or thermostat to be able to control the heat temperature. If it's 100 degrees, it's too hot, okay? Then it won't set. If it's less than 90 degrees, it's not hot enough and it won't set. And the ingredients that you want to help it to set are cornstarch or tapioca starch plus cold water plus GDL, glucodelta-lactone, which you can pick up on eBay. And then you make the sauce using Gula Melaka plus some ginger and some water and dissolved, and then you just serve it like this, okay? And with this one, 4-ingredient recipe, Onde-Onde, glutinous rice flour, palm sugar, Gula Melaka, coconut, and some pandan coloring or pandan essence or pandan powder, okay, like I use here. All right, guys, like I said, don't forget, if you want the recipes to these and all the other recipes that I'll be covering in this series, are going to be 8 sessions altogether. Make sure you give me your email address. If you're not already on my mailing list, you can PM me, you can post it in the comments or whatever, and I'll be sure to add you to my mailing list. Thank you very, very much for this, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's good to be back. I love going live, by the way. I know all my Twitch people are saying, oh, wow, I can't believe you're live because you haven't seen me for a long time now. I used to go live 3 times a week times 2 hours each time, right, on average. But I haven't done it for years and years because I've been running other stuff, including hosting other people's live. I love actually to go live myself. I need to try the Taufu Fa. Cool. Let me know how it turns out. The Taufu Fa, finding a GDL is harder than I thought it would be. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Thanks again so much for tuning in. And I will see you back here on Thursday at 7 p.m. Sydney time, 4 p.m. Malaysia time, and that will be 6 a.m. in Europe, I believe, if I'm not wrong. Gauri, I missed the Taufu Fa. Please share the recipe. Yeah, Gauri, I'm going to be sending out the recipe to everyone via email. So if you're not already on my mailing list, just give me your email address and I will add you to my mailing list. If you're already on my mailing list, you will get it by email. All right. Yeah, good to see you, Eric. All right. Take care, everyone. I'll see you on Thursday back here at 7 p.m. Sydney time. All right. Ciao.